The ones who've been holding it all, the silence, the emotions, the logistics. This space is for you. There's a phase in relationships that doesn't look dramatic from the outside. No shouting, no big decisions, no clear ending. But something shifts. And the first sign is that you stop explaining. You used to explain everything. How you felt, why something hurt, what you needed, what you meant. You chose your words carefully, rephrased them, softened them, tried again. Not because you liked explaining, but because you still believed it would make a difference. Because somewhere in you, there was hope. If I can just say this the right way, they'll finally understand. And for a while, explaining feels like effort. Then it becomes work. Then, slowly, it becomes emotional labor. Because you start to notice something. It's not that you're not explaining well. It's that the understanding isn't coming. So you try differently. You become calmer, more patient, more precise. You remove emotion so it's easier to hear. You simplify so it's clearer. You take responsibility for your tone, your timing, your delivery. You do everything right. And still, you find yourself having the same conversation again. There was a time I would explain even the simplest things. Something as small as flowers. I've always loved flowers. I would say it gently, repeatedly, not as a demand, just as something that mattered to me. And somehow, it always became a conversation. They cost too much. I'll get them when I want to. Not now. Not like that. So I would explain again why it mattered, what it meant, how something small could feel like being seen. And after a while, I realized I wasn't asking for flowers anymore. I was asking to be understood. And when that didn't come, I stopped explaining. I just started buying myself flowers. Not in a dramatic way, not to prove a point, just quietly. And that's when it really shifted. Because I wasn't waiting anymore. I wasn't hoping the message would finally land. I had already understood something for myself. And this is the part people don't talk about. It's not just that you're tired of talking. It's that your body starts to respond. You feel it before you even say a word. That slight tightening in your chest. That heaviness in your shoulders. The quiet thought, I don't have the energy for this again. And maybe you still try, but it's different now. There's a pause before you speak, a hesitation, because part of you already knows this isn't going to land. And that awareness changes everything. Because explaining used to feel like hope, now it starts to feel like depletion. You realize something quietly but clearly. Being understood isn't something you can force. No matter how clearly you speak, no matter how calm you are, no matter how many times you try, understanding requires willingness on the other side. And when that willingness isn't there, explaining becomes a loop. So you start to withdraw. Not in a loud way, not to punish, not to create distance, but to protect your energy. You stop over-explaining. You stop over-clarifying. You stop trying to make someone see what they're not ready to see. And from the outside, it can look like you've changed, like you've become quiet, distant, even cold. But that's not what's happening. You are not cold. You are conserving. Because at some point you realize you can either keep explaining or you can start choosing yourself. And that choice is rarely loud. It doesn't come with a big announcement. It shows up in small moments. When you let something go instead of correcting it. When you choose silence instead of repeating yourself. When you notice the misunderstanding and decide not to chase it. Not because it doesn't matter, but because you matter too. And this is where it gets deeper. Because stopping explaining also means letting go of something else. The hope that if you tried harder, things would change. And that's not easy. Because hope can keep you in conversations longer than reality ever would. But when hope starts to cost you your energy, your clarity, your sense of self, it stops being something that supports you. And your body knows that before your mind fully accepts it. So you begin to shift. You still care. You still see what's happening. You still understand the dynamics. But you stop trying to manage them. And that's a different kind of strength. Because explaining takes energy. But not explaining when you used to takes awareness, restraint, and a quiet kind of self-respect. It's choosing not to abandon yourself just to be understood. And that doesn't mean you never speak. It means you become more intentional. You speak where there's openness. You engage where there's mutual effort. You explain where there's capacity to receive. And where there isn't, you let it be. Not because you've given up, but because you've stopped overgiving. So if you found yourself going quiet lately, not arguing as much, not explaining like you used to. It's not that you don't care. It's not that you've become distant. It might just be that you've realized something important. You don't have to exhaust yourself trying to be understood. And you've been holding everything together. Here you can set some of it down.